Well, welcome back to the West Ham Network for your Southampton preview. I'm Anton, joined by my dad, Jim. Jim, we watched the game the other night. We got the job done, a game of two halves. We had a good first half. Not a great second half, but the key element was getting the job done, wasn't it, in Europa Conference League?
Absolutely, yeah. Got the points. And one more point, I think. Is it just one we need?
I think it's just one more point. As long as Silkeborg, they have to get maximum points now to when we were through to the last 32. We want the last 16, so we play Silkeborg next, and they need maximum points, and West Ham to drop every point for the thing. So, we're through to 32, but we want the 16. Absolutely. But a good day all out. Not the greatest second halves, but it was a good day.
It was a good day, yeah. Demonstrations were not so good at the end from the Anderlecht fans, which I'm a bit disappointed about. But I think the manager came out and exonerated our guys and apologised, where the press secretary was useless, I thought, for Anderlecht.
Yeah, absolutely. Disgraceful scenes at the end there, and hopefully that doesn't come back and bite West Ham. It shouldn't come back and bite West Ham, but we know sometimes how the hierarchy works as well. But we'll move on to the game in the Premier League. Now, in the press conference, David Moyes, it was said to him, great victories, you're on a good run, 4 wins out of 4, but now you need to start putting the wins on the board in the Premier League. Now, he has got 2 out of those 4 in the Premier League and 2 obviously in the Europa Conference League, but it's time now to start getting the points on the board, and he knows that himself. How important is it now that we can put the focus onto the Premier League?
Massively important now. I mean, when we spoke last time, we said that if we can get the Conference League done and dusted, it would give us the confidence, number one, to go forward to the Premier League. And I think really that's really it. Get the confidence, go in and start getting the points on the board. It's just the tactics he's going to use for that now, because they've worked. The tactics he's used for the European ties have been brilliant. If he can adapt and use the similar tactics, the use of the squad and stuff like that between Scamacca and Antonio, for example, I think that would be a good way of getting points on the board.
Absolutely. And like I said, we move into the Premier League. It's time to get the points on the board. Now, we're coming up against Southampton at St Mary's. Now, they haven't won in the last few Premier League games. They got beat last time out against Man City. Of course, that's always going to be a tough game. Everton 2-1 before that. Aston Villa 1-0 before that. Wolves 1-0 before that. But in the Premier League, you have to go all the way back to the 30th of August to get their last win in the Premier League. But to be fair to them, they got it over Chelsea. They got a good result against them. Now, Southampton are sitting 3 points behind West Ham. And fair play to Ralph Hazelhunter, however you want to pronounce his name. He's considering they got beat, I think it was 9-0 a couple of seasons ago, and he's there and he's kept Southampton kicking about, etc. But travelling away, Dad, Moyes has got to transition this team to the point of getting away and maybe not sitting back as such and maybe taking the game to them. I mean, what's your thoughts on West Ham as a whole, travelling away from home, and what was it like back in the day?
Well, when we were travelling away back in the day, and
how the team's set up really sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I mean, what's relevant is really how we're going to set up against Southampton this weekend. That's important. It's not really going back in the day. It's now. It's what we do today that matters. And I've just reiterated what I feel is that if we can take the confidence and the squad use that he's put into the European games, use that against Southampton. Why not? You've mentioned where Southampton's position, which means they're going to fight hard. They need points. So it's not going to be an easy tie against them. It's going to be a difficult tie. Regardless of what results came up, they are going to go for us. There's no question about that. They've got to try and play. And he's of the German ilk, i.e. they're all friends together. All the guys like the previous Chelsea manager, Klopp and all them, they're all born, I think, in the same area, same region. So they're all built with that German mentality. So that I think they'll match that and come out and go fighting, because he is a good manager, the Southampton manager. Just not the results haven't gone his way.
He seems to build his team. Southampton seem to build their team on a lot of strength. Like they've got big, strong players. You've got Shea Adams up top. You've got Armstrong, the Scottish international, up top as well. You've got
Adams as well. No. I mean, he's got some good strikers there. When he had the Chelsea, what was the Chelsea guy's name? The big guy that we were.
Brozier, who's now at Chelsea.
Brozier, I thought it was a brilliant acquisition for him. He's lost a big guy up front, which we have now got. Two big guys up front that we can use, and he's lost one there. Who I thought Brozier was a brilliant player for them.
I feel like West Ham are going to have to be prepared for a physical battle because Southampton are a very physical team. But the issue we've potentially got, and as you can see from the title of the show, is there's potentially a triple blow for West Ham. Now in the Europa Conference League, we saw two players limp off the field. We saw Craig Dawson, who since in the press conference has been said it was a dead leg. So fully, we would hope to expect to see Dawson available. Ogbonna came off.
Possible hamstring.
Well, no, I think they've actually looked at his knee, which is probably the biggest concern more than anything. So I think Augie could be out, and I don't think we would expect him either. And then another blow for us that we didn't expect, and we thought maybe Zuma just wasn't there or thereabouts because it was the Europa Conference League game, but it looks like he's got some sniffles. So there's obviously something going around the team right now because obviously Antonio was missing, and then Zuma was missing for that reason. To potentially have that triple blow in the back line isn't a great situation for West Ham right now, is it?
No, it's not. But there again, what you've said is that, about Southampton is that they are basically a team that are strong, and they are strong in defence. They've lost one or two guys up front. I know you said Shea Adams and that. Yeah, he's a great player, and Armstrong is. But I think we're stronger. I mean, if it was a like for like game, who can score the most goals on the day? I think we would win it on that basis of the offensive side of the two teams. However. If we're going to lose these guys at the back, what's happened with our own player, German boy?
Aguerd. So
no, not Aguerd. No, the German boy.
Kira. So another announcement today from David Moyes was that he was left out of the squad as a precautionary reason. Now we don't know the real reason why he was left out, but that could also be a concern. But then I suppose this is why you buy players and get a squad. Last year we relied heavily on this man here, Sefao. He's been stepping up to the plate the last couple of games. I've been telling people, I've not been impressed with his performances this season, but the last two Europa Conference League performances, I thought Sefao's actually been okay. And that's what we need. We need the squad to step up to the equation. But if we do have the triple or quadruple blow that we potentially do we have enough in our tank in terms of the Ben Johnsons of the world stepping into there, Creswell stepping in there, playing in that centre-back role, not naturally being that centre-back?
You're forgetting one guy, Rice.
He's just about to say.
If you think of Rice, he started his career with us, really, not as an offensive midfielder. And so why couldn't he just step into that? He could easily step into that role.
Well, the funny thing is he actually did last night when he came off the bench. He went into the left-hand side central defensive player, and that's his natural born position. Now I understand that why fans wouldn't want that to happen because he's so effective in the position.
But if we're struck four guys up the wall and he can fill in that position for us, why not?
And if Declan Rice was to go into the back position, and even if he wasn't, there is another player to discuss. Flynn Downs again with another man of the match performance.
Well, then if Rice goes into that central back situation to help us out there, then the way Downs played the other night, he could just slot straight into Rice's position, couldn't he? Let's be honest.
Well, you said before
he models himself on Rice anyway.
Well, I was just going to say. So before we came on, I mean, what was it you were saying about Downs?
Well, I think he's a young guy that's gone in there, and he's working with one of the best midfielders, if not the best midfielder in Europe at this moment in time, in Rice, one of the best midfielders in the world. So he's learning all the time from him. So, I mean, he could just, I think, step in. I mean, he's played brilliantly well for us when he's come on the pitch. So why couldn't he just go in there and take on that role? Give him the chance to take on that role. If Rice goes into central defence.
So if he does go into central defence, Flynn Downs is obviously one that can step in there. If Declan Rice doesn't step into midfield, Flynn Downs is also someone that can step in there alongside Declan Rice. Now, I get it. We're going to go back on to Tommy Soucek just for a little bit. Came on as a substitute. done all right.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a long time he came on for, so it wasn't enough to make an impact on the game. But Flynn Downs, there's a big call now for, and Moyes is now again alluding to the fact that Flynn Downs had a fantastic game and he's given him more things to think about. I actually do think that we may see this transition sooner rather than later, because I think Flynn Downs allows the rest of the team to get the best out of the rest of the team. I said last night on the stream with Russ that I feel like Flynn Downs does all the work that Tommy Soucek doesn't do, but Tommy Soucek does all the work that Flynn Downs doesn't do.
Yeah.
But you can't play three central defensive midfielders, so you need to get the best out of them. And I wonder if that's what we're going to have to start doing with the rotation. We've still got a lot of games to go in October and November before the international break.
I mean, the commentators, when they were talking about Downs there last night after the game, the pundits and stuff like that, they were highlighting really what his ability to come back, take the ball from players and play forward. They were highlighting a lot of the skills of Downs last night.
Yeah, I think there was even a couple of the commentators. Joe Cole, for example, was calling for him for, you know, he's a future England potential. I genuinely see it, like I do, and I think Moyes is seeing it now. You know, if we go back to last year, we had Alex Kroll as the backup midfielder who was not getting a run out at all, and there was obviously a reason for that. We don't know, but we you know, maybe Moyes just didn't favour him or didn't fancy him or didn't rate him at all. But now we're seeing Flynn Downs. He started several games in Europa Conference League. He's getting little runouts in the Premier League, and I just think he would really suit our current style. But as we move into this,
and he's played. I mean, and he's an England youth player right the way up through all the England youth teams. So he's got a lot of experience there. I think he's played under 19 and under 20s. I think for England.
I think he has as well. Yeah, absolutely.
So that in itself means that he's been playing in very, very strong, good competitive games.
Another player that's definitely going to be missing is Max Corney. You know, I thought he was maybe thereabouts, but he is definitely in training. We know that for a fact. So this game's probably going to be too early. But again, this probably allows West Ham to fluctuate again. Do we go with Fornals or do we give Benny that run out? You know, Benny got his goal the other night and he looked, you know, he's a confidence player. You know, he had a good game. He probably had a better game the week before, but he still had a good game. Last night, the other night.
I thought he did pretty well, didn't he? Yeah. I thought he stepped up to the plate there last night again. I mean, he got his goal, which was an important one for him, but he still showed all that talent whereby he can create, and he showed creativity again. But he converted that goal. He got a terrific goal there, which will boost his confidence now. I mean, Moyes said that afterwards. He was asked a straight question, was he not, about what did he think that did Benny need that? And Moyes said, yeah, he didn't need it, but he didn't say he had to have it, because he was talking about the other aspects of Benrahma's play.
Absolutely. Another couple of players to talk about before we get your prediction is Antonio was missing for the Europa Conference League game due to the sniffles. I don't know if he's trained, and Moyes has hinted at potentially a doubt. You know, you never know. But the benefit this year is that we've got someone in the ranks, and his name is Gianluca Scamacca. So I don't doubt for a second Scamacca's going to start the game. He came off the bench, got a little run out in the Europa Conference League. Maybe not enough time to make a bit of an impact. The game wasn't really getting played that way either way anyway. But, you know, we're going to start with the strongest team we possibly can. Traveling to St. Mary's Sunday, it's not an easy place to go. But on paper, our squad is strong. It's just what players are going to be available on the day. So on the basis of that, Dad, what do you see the result being?
I mean,
what would you take?
Well, I would take a 1 or a 2-0 victory down there. I think it's going to be tough because of their position. Both of our positions, I'm going to be a little bit negative and let's go for a draw. I think it's going to be something like about either 1 each or 2 each or something like that. I'd love to see us. It depends. If Scamacca is on form and comes out and can hit something, and Benrahma comes out and plays like he did the other day, we could beat them. In the offensive side, we could beat them because defensively they're not as good as us. But as you said, they're a strong team, tough team, hard to beat, home territory. They need the points. We need the points. It's going to be a tough game. My prediction, I think, is going to be, unfortunately, guys, for me, it's going to be something like a 1-1 draw.
And, you know, it's such an important game, actually. I think this one, you know, if we go back to 5 games ago, some fans, not a lot, some were calling for Moyes has got 5 games. He's now went and won 4 in the bounce. But this game probably becomes even more important because we play Liverpool and Anfield next.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be a tough game, especially on the back of them getting a victory and Mo Salah off the mark with the Champions League record for a hat-trick. So this game's become more vital for West Ham to get as many points on the board as we can to at least go into the Liverpool game with the mindset that, we're going to take them, we're going to do a job, and we're not going to be the West Ham of old. No. If we turn up and look at the opposition and go, do you know what, we'll take the game to you.
If we do that and we go offensive, then a prediction could be 3-1 for us. Yeah. I'm just thinking that I'm just concerned that maybe Moyes might just want to, how can I say, buckle up a little bit at the back for this game. He might just want that, and he might be prepared to take a draw on that one. I don't know. I think he wants to get the win. Of course he does. So we all do. We all want to get the win, but I think he might go a little bit defensive. On saying that, after we've discussed 4 players not possibly in there, our defensive side, it might be better to go on the offensive and go for it. Yeah. It might be that. It might be the thing to do.
Good point. I'm going to go for a 2-1 West Ham win. Just get the 3 points on the board again. Yeah. Make sure we've got all the players fit, ready to rock and roll for the run-in until the winter break. But that's us for the preview today. So if you are new around here, please do hit that cheeky subscribe button. We're on the march towards, I don't even know how many we're on the march towards now, 20,000 subscribers. So click that subscribe button. What you'll see is you'll see it red. If you click it, it'll go grey. And then you hit the bell notification. That will then notify you when the shows do go live. Thank you for watching again, myself and Dad. We will be back for the Liverpool preview. Stay safe, everyone. And of course, come on you beautiful Irons.
Good